Well, hello and welcome back. Thank you for coming back. Today, well, we're actually in downtown Paphos Airport. There we are. There's a surprise for you. And the idea is to drive from the airport, show you that route, and we're going to take you to the Yeroskipou beach, or Rikkos beach as it's more commonly known, and that then will be the start of the hotel road. So basically, we're going to show you the route that you're going to take from the airport to the hotels where most people are staying. Now, before we set off on our travels, I'm going to introduce you to the most beautiful woman in the world, Miss Ochin Yeroskipou.
Hello everybody, how nice to see you again and again.
And again. Right, come on, go. She's in charge of the ship, off we go. So, as I've just said to you, we are in downtown Paphos Airport. There it is. That's the departures. At this door here, the next door just further along is actually the arrivals. It's not that big an airport, which is quite a good thing, but it's big enough, that's for sure. And there's a couple of Kumbarus there having a cigarette and a frappe as they lean against the statue. But don't worry, if there's the odd terrorist about, I'm pretty sure that they will jump into action and shoot them. Lucivia?
I don't think somebody will shoot somebody, but I'm sure, no, maybe I hope when they're on duty, they're thinking not only about cigarette and the frappe.
Well, I hope not. They are there to do a job, and we all understand what that job is. Anyway, stick with us. This is the route out of the downtown Paphos Airport. It'll take us around 20 minutes to get to the start of the hotel road in downtown Cato Paphos, and as I said, that's where most people watching our videos will be staying. Obviously some people may stay in the Universal or Clorica, but it gives you an idea of the route. If you're going to hire a car, it's quite straightforward. You exit the airport and now we're going to go left, and then we're going to follow this road, quite a sensible straight road, but please be careful because it's quite a fast road. Sometimes the Gumbaros in blue do park up a bit further, and sometimes people coming to the airport, shall we say, because they're late, well, they take unnecessary risks. So please be very careful.
Sorry that I interrupt you, but I would like to mention that normally the taxi drivers are not following the rules at all.
Well, it's not just the taxi drivers, it's a lot of people, including foreigners, people like ourselves, tourists. We find we are late for our airplane, or we think we're going to be late, so we give it a bit of a welly. So please be careful when you are leaving the airport, and bear that in mind. There's two very long straights and a curve, and more often than not you could even come around the curve and there's someone overtaking, so be very careful. There we are. There's idiots. There you go.
I'm not going to let him go.
No, there's always idiots on the roads, unfortunately, everywhere in the world. So here we are to our right hand side by the Swipway. You've actually got a rather nice beach area, and there are 2 or 3 restaurants down there. That's not a busy car park, that's a car hire company with all the cars parked up, by the way. But there are a few restaurants on the beach area there, and there is this place here. You've got the Banner March Beach Bar, you've got the Base Club, which is like an events place there. So don't stick with us. We are going to go for about another kilometre, just under a mile, and then we will join the main road, which will take us towards Paphos. At that main road we are going to go left, and before we get to there, coming up on our left hand side, you're going to find a lot of main branches for car hire car companies and car parking companies. So for example, if you do live in Cyprus, or you flip backwards and forwards, should we say, and you want to park your car up in one of these car parking places, you can on a very long-term basis, and of course they'll pick you up from the airport and drop you at the airport. I think most people understand how that one works. Now this little bit here we shouldn't be filming, but hey, we do a lot of things that we shouldn't do. So that is an army base. So that's the army base that backs on to the Paphos airport. Again, they've got their own airstrip. It is an active army base, and there are Greek Cypriot soldiers in there, and there are Greek soldiers in there, and I think there's a few UN in there as well, by the way. Anyway, it's not a very big base, but if there's trouble at the airport, I would imagine they are going to respond. So that's for sure. Now, everyone seems to be driving very sensibly, so one assumes that there's no flights actually coming in the next half an hour or so. Pacific, how's the driving?
Are you the Sherlock Holmes?
Well,
not that Sherlock Holmes, but the Sherlock Holmes who is guessing, is the people driving sensibly, which means it's not many.
In general, when people are driving sensibly, it means they're not in a hurry. So therefore, being as this is the main airport road, when people are not in a hurry, that means there's no flights leaving or no flights coming.
Yeah.
When there's flights coming in, the taxis are booting it, and people like ourselves, just the same as them, are booting it to get to their airport on time. There we go. That's some of the car hire companies. That's Alamo, Enterprise and National, all one big company, and it all is a multi-franchise obviously, and it's all under one flag in Cyprus. And then we've got another one coming up here. This is ASG Cars, and they operate the Eurocar franchise, and they also sell cars, second-hand cars and new cars as well. Quite a big operation, and his name is Mr. Andy, quite a nice guy. Here we are. We are about to join the main road, and we're going to take a left, and we're going to go to Paphos. If you look carefully at the sign, the lower sign there, you will see it says 10 kilometers to Paphos, 54 to Limassol and 140 to Nicosia. Those two don't really bother us because we're going to Paphos. Here we are. We've got another car hire company and a big park and ride business there, again, where you can park your car up for a day, a month, a year, or as long as you wish. Here we are. This is the area called Timmy, or the village of Timmy, and this is where there's a big market on a Sunday. So if you're looking somewhere exciting, well, perhaps not exciting is not the correct word, but somewhere different to go on a Sunday, because there's not that much going on in Cyprus, because in tradition goes most businesses close down. You could get in a taxi or on a bus and come out to the Timmy market and have a wander around. Now, just something to give you a bit of information. If you are going by bus from the harbour depot, it's still there at the moment, to the airport, or vice versa obviously, the bus number you're looking for is 612, and the only reason I know that is because when we were coming in there was a bus saying airport that said 612, and as we were coming in again there was a bus going the other way saying harbour and it said 612. So there we go, that's the bus number that you want. We in general don't use buses, we in general use a Mercedes, and I have a chauffeur and her name is such you can see behind the booth, and she's driving very, very nicely today, very calmly.
I don't want you to show it to me again.
That's a clever girl. There we go.
Again.
And again. And again. Stick with us. So this is the main road, and you're basically going to go straight for around about 5 to 6 miles in English, or about 7 to 8 kilometers in, well, the local language, shall we say. And this road is straight again. As you can see, it's quite busy, because of course there's people coming home from work and there's not that many taxis coming towards us. But when you see a lot of taxis coming towards you, often you're going to find out that they're not on the right side of the road, or should we say they're on the wrong side of the road and they're facing you. So be very, very carefully, especially at night. Now if you're coming from the airport and your hire car hasn't got any benzene, any petrol in it, that's your local petrol station. But be warned, it's not the cheapest petrol station, because obviously it's getting tourists on the way back to the airport to top up their hire cars, otherwise they're going to get fined. And of course it's getting you as you come from the airport and you haven't got any benzene, so it's not the cheapest. It's a bit like on a motorway service station in the UK, if you understand, and I understand in most parts of Europe it's exactly the same. So if you've got enough petrol in the car, keep going that bit further until you get to Paphos, and you'll find that it's 3 or 4 cents a litre cheaper. Not an awful lot of money, but on a tank of fuel, that's a couple of euros, which will buy you a couple of cans of Coke. There we go. See there?
You reminded me now, coffee, your coffee and my, what was it, espresso.
Ah, when we were in Tbilisi. Yes. There we are. That's another story. Anyway, right, let's keep going. This is the, well, it's the second but last village before we get to Paphos. Now, my pronunciation is Sherlock Holmes, and I say it's called Aletia. That's probably wrong. What's that say on that sign, LaBeouf?
Achillea.
Oh, there we go. Achillea. How do you say it?
Achillea.
Achillea. Aletia to you and me. It's a straight village that you go straight through, but it's quite a nice village if you go off the beaten track, and there are, As you just seen there, a restaurant there, and there's a taverna further on, and there's quite a nice quaint little church if you're into that kind of thing. Now, there's a signpost coming up here that you can go up to the highway or the motorway, and it's also a sign that takes you up to the Abra body shop and mechanic shop. That's where I have to go every morning. That's what I have to do to try and make a living, or as I say, to keep something on that woman's face, which is a smile. There we go. And luckily for me, she's always smiling. So I'm a pretty lucky man, that's for sure. Anyway, stick with us. Here we are. Quite a nice little road this. It's like tree lined. So if you're looking for somewhere for shade to pull over to write something down, if you understand what I'm saying, that's where you go. So I'm coming down from the workshop. Someone phones me, I stop and write it down in the shade and often have a snooze. No, I don't. Right, here we go. So we are now rapidly approaching Paphos. Just so you understand, the airport is not far at all. It literally is 15-20 minutes maximum to the start of the hotel road, 25 minutes to the harbour. So if you've selected a hotel or an apartment complex in Kato Paphos, that's the Universal area, or downtown Kato Paphos where all the hotels are, or around Bar Street. I'm trying to use terms that you're going to understand. Tomb of the Kings area, the airport is between 20 and 25 minutes away. Now, we're not going to go to Paphos. We're going to take a left, there we are, showing you what an idiot I am, as we go down this new, well, yes, you see the other booth. Normally when you go left, there we are, domestic. Normally when we go left,
Oh,
there we are.
hello,
Right. So this is the new, shall we say, it's not a dual carriageway as you can see, but the new highway that has been constructed to give us access to downtown Kato Paphos, in other words the downtown promenade area and all the hotels and things that go with it. And of course this bypasses the main area of Paphos, so it's much faster, but again, don't be tempted to speed. Receive your booth.
It wasn't here, this one, 5 or 6
No,
years
it wasn't here about 5 years ago. Time does go, and COVID-19 has mucked the world for a bit, but about 5 to 6 years ago, this road was not here. So if you haven't been to Cyprus for 5 or 6 years, this road probably wasn't here. But watch your speed, Gracivula Booth, because the boys in blue, or the Gumbarus as I call them, it's now quite cool for them, and they like to park up on these types of roads just round the bend under a bit of shade with that silly gun thing in their hand, and they take great pleasure in giving.
For them.
No, they're quite happy with the front, and they take great pleasure in using their little electronic machine to check your details on your car and then to issue that €75 fine. And guess what? If you're a tourist, on the spot, because as I've said, their little electronic machine can zap your credit card. Receive the big?
Yeah, that's normally happen. Not only with tourists.
Not only with tourists, no, all of us. But luckily, if our cars are registered in Cyprus, we don't have to pay it on the spot. We have about 14 days, should we say. Anyway, here we go. So we're coming to a roundabout, but you can only go right. Receive the booth?
Yeah.
I mean, you can go left if you wish, but you're going to go down a dirt track. So we can only go right. And now we are going to join the dual carriageway part, which again, heed my warning again, this is a dual carriageway, very, very easy to do 80-90 kilometers an hour. In English, that's like 55 to 60 miles an hour. Not a lot, but if you do it, well, the boys in blue, they're going to be waiting. The sign up here says 65, and along this bit of road on both sides, they're very clever. It goes 65, 50, 30, 65, 50, 30. Very, very clever. And you can understand where they might be sitting just as it goes from the 65 to the 50 to the 30, because that stretch of road is very, very narrow. You have a slight lapse in concentration, €75 fine. Keep going a bit, keep going straight. Now, over yonder through these fields, we are going to come into the downtown Kato Paphos promenade area where all the hotels and bits and bobs and restaurants and cafes are. But we're going to keep going a little bit, and we're going to take you to the Yeroskipou beach, which is the next left, Gracivia Laboof. Yeah, left. Normally when people go left, they go left.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ah, we're on this.
So that's the Yeroskipou coastal area, and this is going to be the Yeroskipou beach, or more commonly known as the Rikkos beach. So if someone says to you Rikkos beach, they mean the biggest beach in the Paphos area, and they mean the Yeroskipou beach. As we approach this beach, you're going to get a great view. But on our left hand side there is a restaurant, and I think it's called the Cielos, and it's run by a British couple, and they are Gary and Tracy, and they call themselves G&Ts at Cielos, and they specialise in gins, hence the initials G&T. So keep going, Abu. Here we go. This is Yeroskipou Beach, right in front of us. So let's take a left, shall we? And then we'll find somewhere to park, and then we'll go and show the people a beautiful view. This is a beautiful night out there today, that is for sure. And as you can see this time of night, it's pretty busy. There's an awful lot of cars parked up. A lot of people perhaps have been here all afternoon, or a lot of people have just arrived after work, because obviously the sea is absolutely beautifully warm, and well, that sea tonight looks very blue. The sky looks very blue. All it's missing, I think, is you. So let's go a little bit further. You've got various beach bars, as you may have noticed, on the right hand side, but we're going to go a bit further and it should quieten out a little bit. There you go, our man from Rotherham. Have a look at that. There you go. See, don't say I don't ever give you anything, Mr. Jono, because that was specially for you. Absolutely packed. We'll see if you park there. That's it. Let's dismount and go and show the view. It'll only be a few seconds. Just stop there. Yeah, park it up. Don't worry. That'll do. Stick with us as we go and show you the beautiful blue Mediterranean Sea. And it is absolutely spectacular tonight. And this is a very nice beach, very flat, not very rocky, although there are quite a bit of stones when you walk down, but they rake it quite often, and then you get quite a sandy beach. So have a look at that.
I would like to thank you for watching. I think it was a very interesting trip. Stay with us and we will show you more and more of our trips and of course madnesses. We're loving you to bits. And
all it's left for me to say is thanks for watching. If you like what you see, please hit the like, click subscribe, come back for a little bit more of our madness. Have a look at that beautiful view again, and we'll finish with a beautiful sun setting in the sky. Have a look at that. Thanks for watching.